What an impressive win tonight by the Atlanta Hawks and a devastating loss by a team I do not believe in the New York Knicks. They're a team I haven't believed in all season, and I've repeatedly said that I don't expect the Knicks to be real championship contenders this season, and they drew a terrible matchup in round one with the red-hot Atlanta Hawks, a team that's been playing great basketball for months and made some moves at the trade deadline to really improve their basketball team, especially adding a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But tonight, the Hawks won 107-106 in a game that the Knicks were up going into the fourth quarter by 12 points. And in that fourth quarter, the Hawks won 28-15 behind some marvelous basketball by CJ McCollum. Clutch shot after clutch shot. With 2 minutes left in this basketball game, CJ McCollum hit a driving layup to go up by 1 point, 101-100. OG Anunoby on the other end of the court missed 2 free throws. CJ McCollum then hit another little 6-foot kind of floating layup. Jalen Brunson came down the court, drilled a 3-pointer to tie the basketball game back up, and we were in a dogfight. CJ McCollum came back down the court and hit an incredible fadeaway from the left baseline. He dribbled, came down, faded away right over here. Cash money, nothing but net. Then the Atlanta Hawks got a stop, went down the court, and I believe it was Jalen Johnson got a dunk. Jalen Brunson came down, hit another 3-pointer to bring it within 1 point. CJ McCollum was fouled, missed both free throws, where then Mikal Bridges went down the court and bricked the chance to win the game. But CJ McCollum hit so many clutch shots, more than what I just even said there, but really brought this game home for the Atlanta Hawks. And one of the things that you see in the playoffs is the value of shot creation. Being able to score in the half court, make good decisions, get quality looks. It is a way different ball game in the playoffs than it is in the regular season. You saw that with the Detroit Pistons against the Orlando Magic the other night. After Cade Cunningham, there was almost no one on the court that could generate good looks. And tonight, CJ McCollum showed how much value he can add as a playoff riser. He finished the game with 32 points and 6 assists. The Atlanta Hawks are a very scary basketball team, and they're a team that you don't want to play against because not only CJ McCollum and what he was able to do tonight, but their perimeter defense, their length with their wings is a force to be reckoned with. They have Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Jonathan Kuminga off the bench. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had a huge defensive stop at the end of this game, and it just feels like the Knicks are really struggle to generate good looks outside of Jalen Brunson. Even Jalen Brunson was 10 of 26 from the field tonight, so he didn't have a bunch of quality looks, but we know he's just able to hit tough shots. But you look, OG Anunoby, 4 of 9 from the field. Mikal Bridges, 3 of 10 from the field. If those two guys continue to play and struggle, it's going to be really hard for the New York Knicks to do what they want to do in this playoff run. Mikal Bridges has not lived up to the hype for what they traded for him, and even the way he was playing in Brooklyn. He has not played at that level. He just doesn't feel comfortable in this Knicks offense. But the Atlanta Hawks are going to continue to frustrate him because of those perimeter defenders. And Jonathan Kuminga, 19 points, 4 rebounds tonight, 7 of 12 from the field in 35 minutes. Now, that seems like a player that the Golden State Warriors probably could have used in their playoff run, but what do I know? The Golden State Warriors and Draymond Green probably is out there getting another triple single. But what an addition for the Atlanta Hawks. And you just see, I'm a huge fan of Coach Quinn Snyder. I thought he was really good in Utah when he was there before he went to Atlanta. And obviously, we saw Atlanta a few years ago make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals with Trae Young. And what's so interesting about that is sometimes when teams make a run to the conference finals that's unexpected, they think they're a little better than they are and go all in. Well, the Atlanta Hawks have made a ton of moves since then to really reset their roster, and they've made some great trades and draft picks, getting guys like Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, even though they got the first overall pick and Zachary Risache, who didn't even play tonight, but they traded for CJ McCollum, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And then in the offseason, they got a guy in Kristaps Porzingis who they then traded for Jonathan Kuminga. So this team has been completely rebuilt. And even though it's went through so many changes, and sometimes that can be really difficult on a basketball team, they've went through all those changes, yet they have gotten considerably better in the second half of the season. And they've been, that's really why going into the playoffs, they were a team that, I'm a Celtics fan, I absolutely did not want to play the Atlanta Hawks in round one. Now, it was unlikely because of their record. They kept winning games, but that was the one team I was like, I would much rather, if I have to play them, it be later in the playoffs. But if you're looking at the New York Knicks, I think they're going to run into real issues because tonight they lost a lot of the I'm pulling it up here, a lot of different statistical categories. They got they had more turnovers. They lost fast break points. They lost points in the paint. They shot worse from the field. They did out-rebound the Atlanta Hawks, and that's somewhere that I think the Knicks have an advantage because you look at the Hawks, they play a Kongwu, who actually had a good game tonight, 15 points and 8 rebounds. But as far as big men, the New York Knicks have Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, some guys that can get rebounds. But all in all, I think this is going to be a really difficult series for the New York Knicks if they're able to even pull it out. I would imagine that this goes 7 games. I think both teams are going to steal games, and it'll be interesting to see how that late game execution continues to flow in the series. Well, if CJ McCollum keeps playing like this, I actually think the Hawks will win this series because of all the other talent they have on their roster and the way that a guy like Jalen Johnson has played all season. He has 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists tonight. It wasn't his best game, but he's an all-NBA level player, a guy who made the All-Star game and has just really made huge improvements to his game this season. He finished the season averaging, let me get pulled up here real quick, 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, almost average a triple-double. So if they can get that Jalen Johnson and CJ McCollum playing at the level he is, I think they're going to beat this New York Knicks team in round one. But it should be an exciting rest of the series. What an ending to this game, and if you're a New York Knicks fan, you got to feel sick to your stomach. But honestly, I don't feel that bad for you because New York Knicks fans tend to be a little obnoxious from time to time. They started this game chanting "F-U CJ McCollum," and last game they were still chanting "F-U Trae Young," even though he's not on the Atlanta Hawks anymore. But I think it's a little funny. But all in all, if anyone deserves this loss, it's New York Knicks fans. But if you're a Hawks fan, you got to feel great about where you are going back to Atlanta. You absolutely have a chance to win this series, and the East feels wide open. You look at the Detroit Pistons and them losing Game 1 to the Orlando Magic. The Boston Celtics, they're still bringing back a player in Jason Tatum who came back from an Achilles injury. He's played really well, but you still can't feel 100% confident that that team's absolutely a juggernaut. So just look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference. Should be really interesting. We could have a ton of parity these playoffs, and I can't wait to watch the rest of them. If you love NBA basketball, make sure you subscribe to the channel as we will continue to cover as many games as possible. Appreciate y'all watching. Cyborg out.